Alright, let's start and let's try to add this guy to our Home Assistant. So let's put it into pairing mode. So there's a reset button here. So let's press the reset button long enough. Let's see whether something happens here. There's a LED that's now flashing here. So it's in pairing mode. Let's see whether it's found by Home Assistant or not. It's not found yet. Finally, something is happening. It's starting an interview. I already have this now in my hand because I double checked whether everything is alright. It's still flashing, as you can see. So I'm just keep waiting for this to be added till it gets added. Yay, I managed to edit it. It took a lot of time, a lot of resets. The battery popped up, battery put back in. For some reason the interview process took longer than this little guy's like pairing mode, so I really had to synchronize the timing at some point, but now it's finally added. So yeah, let's see what we can do with this guy. Okay, so I don't see much here now. Again, this is shown as a switch, so at least the battery indicator, it works, so I can see that the battery is 100%. I can switch this on and off, but don't really know what the heck is happening. If I go this is also just an on and off. It's just a label. So usually these IR blasters are added through the Zigbee 2 MQTT stuff, but I just don't want to use that for now. Let's see what we can do here. So alright, so it seems that for ZHA we need to add something that's called Quirk, which is something like a translator that you know, the way how this guy is implemented, it's not completely compatible with ZHA. So we need this Quirk that whatever this guy sends, that is translated in a way that ZHA can understand. So I found a website on this which says basically this is the Tuya ZS06, is a battery operated version of the UFO-R11, which eventually this is the UFO-R11. I don't know whether it's visible on the cam. So I'm lucky with this. So let's do this, what this website is telling us. So there's this about that. So eventually I need to go to raw, and then once I have the raw one, okay, so now I download this. So whatever I have here I remove, then I download this raw version. Okay, let's check whether it's a Python code now. Oh yeah, it's a Python code now. Okay, so I go to my container. Let me restart Home Assistant first. Okay, my Home Assistant is rebooting. So there are some logs that's about my Xiaomi fan, so it's not about that. There's a hex integration allotted, and there is this ZHA handlers. Oh, the ZHA Quirks, loaded custom quirks. That's finally something I wanted to see. So maybe this time we're gonna see something more useful thing on the dashboard. Let's see what has been changed in the whole Home Assistant environment. So I have this guy letter here. Again, this is the thing. So now let's go to the manage Zigbee device, and let's see the comments. So what are these first? There are definitely more things here for now. Well, let's see the comments. So there's a reset. There is no other thing here, but
isn't there any IR control? Then there's IR learn. Oh, that's quite nice. So there's IR learn after choosing this IR control. So then
let me see if I can find something useful. Alright, so I finally figured out how this whole thing can be working under Home Assistant. So it's a quite tricky part, but eventually when we learn a code from a remote, it's not really shown on the UI. So we need to go into the Home Assistant logs, or maybe in the newer versions there's a feature here in the GUI to get that code for us. So let's see how it works in action. So we go to our home assistant. This is the same place where I've been, and then so you're in the clusters, right? And then you select this IR control cluster, and then from the attributes, that's the basic one, you go to commands, and then you do the IR learn stuff, and then you set it to true, and eventually when you press the issue Zigbee command, the LED on the device will come up, and that's the time when you know that it's in the learning mode. So then you can point your remote and then send any signals, and then the lights go off, and then it's basically recorded. So I have this simple remote for my amp. So I want to control the volume up and the volume down. So I'm going to press this button or this button. So now it's nothing visible here. So I press the issue Zigbee command, and as you can see, it's now the LED is on. So it's still on. So now I can just press the button and send it. I press maybe twice or even more. Okay, it's still on. It's probably received the code. Yeah, so now the light went off, so the receiving part is done. So the code was received. So now we can go to the attributes here, and we can say what is the last learned code, and then you just read the attribute. And you see that this is the actual code that it was received by the remote. So this is how you can get the codes. Sometimes for me though, I realize that I already played around a little bit with this, and then sometimes this value doesn't change. I don't know why. So for me, the simplest way is still to go into the home assistant logs and then see there the things that you have to see. So eventually what we need to do is now let me switch to my VS Code. So my VS Code is here. So I created a template.yaml file where I'm going to record what are the specific attributes I need to register. So since this is an amplifier, I want the toggle button for switching on and off. I need to do the volume up, volume down, and I have a tricky buttons here because I can actually set the treble and the bass here, but among them I need to press this button to switch whether I want to set it for the bass or I want to set it for the treble. So it's gonna be a trouble to set the treble, but it's alright. We're gonna do that. So here, as you can see, I have the terminal here popped up. So basically the home assistant log is quite messy. It's got a lot of things there, and it's very difficult to find what you're looking for. But I already know that the message that we are looking for has this string inside, the IR message, blah blah blah, received or something. So we're just only going to grab for that, and then let's see how we can do something. So now I'm going to record the bass treble switch button because I haven't recorded that before. So if I go back to my home assistant, now I'm not showing that for you, just only show this. So I go to the comment section and I go to issue Zigbee command. Then again the light goes up, so then I just press the bass and treble once. Let it be 2 or 3, I don't care. Now let's see what we see here on the templates file. Let's see when the lights goes off, and then maybe we're gonna see something. You see, IR message totally received. So here you can see as well what is the actual IR code that is sent from this remote to this IR blaster. So now you know how it looks, and basically we can see whether the GUI is perfectly showing the same thing. So as you can see, it's supposed to be something like this. So let me say, so it's going to be amp bass treble toggle button, and then I just save it here. Yeah, so it ends with ppcdgc. All right, so now if I go to my home assistant, let's see whether it still has the same thing. So let me go there. Okay, so now if I go back to the attributes and then I select the last learned code and then the read attribute, then you can see that there is another value here. What's the last? Okay, so it's ppcdgc. Okay, this time it was actually working fine. So this is how you can use this guy and also ZHA to get the codes, record the codes, and then make it work probably in the future. So what now I'm going to do is that I was digging into the forums to see how we can then use this as automations. So what I'm doing now is to create this templates.yaml file where I'm going to save all the remote control messages or button presses that I will probably use in the future. So let me finish that first, and then let's get back to you how to see how we can use this. Okay, so I recorded many signals by using this guy and the IR blaster, and now you can see that my phone is focusing on the amplifier itself. It says AU because it is in the auxiliary setting. So I placed the IR blaster there, and before doing any automation, I want to see whether I can actually send those signals that I received. So for this, I'm going to take the volume up signal that I received before, which is something like this, and I'm going to use the home assistant system first to just send it. So I go back here, and then I go to the IR send, and then I put my code here, and then I just issue the command, and then see what happens. I think it should take some time. If it sees 35, oh, it sees 35, it means it increased it by 1. Actually 35 is the highest amount, so I cannot increase it even more. But let's see if I can reduce it. That's a different command. So now I get my volume down code, which is this one. Sorry you don't see it, but I'm just copy pasting out from my VS Code. So now I just place it here, and then see what happens. It's supposed to show 34 or something soon. It's very slow, yeah, but it's 34. So it actually takes a couple of seconds to get these comments from Home Assistant to send it to the IR Blaster through Zigbee, and then the IR Blaster actually send those comments out. It really takes a couple of seconds, but at least it works. So now we can try to focus on how to automate things. So that's a different thing. Let me get back to that in a second. Alright, so now we are back. Now what I'm going to do is that I finally managed to figure out how to get this IR Blaster and the ZHA inside Home Assistant to be part of an automation, so I can finally do what I actually want to do with the device that I integrated into Home Assistant. So first of all, I was skimming through this this blog. I mean, it's not even a blog, it's a GitHub issue record where people were saying how to play around with this device. I was really digging deep into this, but I haven't really find the exact answer as one post, so that's actually the purpose of having this video for you guys. So I saw some people were saying that you got to do the template file, which I was doing for taking notes of the remote codes, and then the same guy, or maybe the similar guy or another guy, just told me it shouldn't be a template. Oh yeah, this is the guy. So he used to do a template before, but now he says it's got to be a script instead of a template. So he said that there's got to be a scripts.yaml file, and then it's quite similar to the template that we created before, but that's going to be the name of the script, and then there's going to be some variables, and then for the configuration he configured 2 or 3 whatever button presses, just like we did before with the template file, and then there is this hacky part or whatever, which basically just tells you what is the service that you're going to call, what is the alias for that, and then of course there's also the IEEE MAC address kind of thing for the device itself. What is the command type? It's a server because it's going to send the request, I mean the IR codes to the end device itself. So, and then the way how you can call it is that you call the service itself. So, and then you can put the actual command, which is one of the button presses that you recorded, so like this, like KVM1, that you actually want to execute. So let's see how we can do this. So first of all, we need, where do we get this information, right? The MAC address and all this stuff. So if you go to Home Assistant and then you go to your integrations, then you go to your devices, and eventually you got the IR Blaster. Then you can go to the Zigbee info and you can see what is this, right? So you can get your own Zigbee layer 2 address from here, which is like this. So you can use this later on. So what I did then is then I created this thing. So let's go to the script YAML file. So let me switch to that. Wait a sec. So we are here. So I created the script YAML file, and as you can see, now I call it fake remote. That's going to be the name of the script that we will be able to see in Home Assistant as a script that we want to call. And then I also have the variables, and then as a config I have all the recorded buttons that I recorded before, but now it's not in any template, it's in scripts files only. So forgot that template things that we were doing before. So then I have the amplifier toggle, volume up, volume down, blah blah blah. So these are the commands that I can call. And then there's a sequence. So as you saw in the previous case, every time I actually issued the Zigbee command, we needed to wait a couple of seconds. So because I'm going to issue this IR remote to send multiple signals, I really don't want to be overloaded or have so many problems. So I added this delay function here, which means that whenever you call it, it's gonna take a 2 seconds delay. So that's in my setting. You can play around with yours, that how much time does it actually take to get the effect visible in your system. So you know, when you press the issue Zigbee command, when is the time when you eventually see that the IR commands are sent to your end device. So for me it was mostly like 2 seconds, so I just set it here. So then I just copy pasted everything from the GitHub issue page, so you can just use this, and then as you see, I basically set this IEEE address to the one that I have from Home Assistant, and basically that's it. So this is the script that you need to have, and then you will be able to call it. So once you save the script, you need to reboot your Home Assistant, then it will be able to pick it up later on. So I already rebooted it. So now let's get back to Home Assistant and see how it looks like in the automation part. So let me change back to the Home Assistant view. So now we're back here. If I go to my automations, then there's this one when I'm actually at home. So everything was, the whole reason of this story for me is that I switch off my outlet completely. So all the devices like my TV, my amp, my PC, or whatever is connected to that power outlet goes off totally. And my problem was that since it basically loses the power, when it switches back on, my amplifier also loses what was the last time that I set for the treble, the bass, the volume and stuff. So eventually when I come back home and the whole system goes up, I want to instruct the IR blaster to switch on the amplifier, press a lot of times the volume up button because I want it to be at the top. Then I also want to set the treble, etc, etc. So let's see how it looks like. So what we can see here is that I have, when I'm at home, it's called momentum park zone, doesn't matter. So when I'm at home, then I want to power on the switch. So then it makes it possible that everything around my TV is going to have power. So then it also send a notification for my mobile, that's fine. Then there's another power switch that I want to actually switch on, but eventually you can see that I added here the script fake remote. So the way how you can add it is like basically you just go add action, and then you're gonna see a script. Oh, where's my mouse? Script, and then you will see the fake remote here because we already created in the scripts YAML file. So you will be able to see this here. So then you add it here, and then basically what you can see here is there's nothing else you can add, but you can specify the comment here that you want to send to. So it's the first thing I want to send is the amplifier toggle because I want to switch it back on. So what you can see from my mobile view on the side of the corner of this view, that the amplifier is actually now switched off. So I decreased the volume many times and switched it off to see whether the automation actually can work. So what we're going to do is that we want to enable or like switch on the amp and then increase the volume many times. So instead of adding the same action all over again, I found that there is this thing called repeat function. So there is an built-in repeat function within Home Assistant. So I want just going to use that. So I want to repeat calling the same script but with a different command, which is going to be volume up. So then I don't have to like copy paste the whole thing 20 times. So yeah, so then this is the script fake remote. Again, it's going to be called 20 times, and then now I want to call the volume up. So let's see if this whole thing can work. So first of all, just issue the toggle button first, and let's see if it works, right? So then I just issued it, and now let's see whether we see on the small screen. Yeah, so it became AU, so now it's switched on. So it's not dash dash anymore, it's the AU. So it's switched on, and it's at least it remembers the latest input selection, which is the auxiliary. So that is fine. Now let's try to increase the volume and see how fast it is going to be. For me, of course, it doesn't really matter how fast it is, because it is set in a way that when I'm in the area of my home, then the whole thing switches on. So actually when I reach my door and I already hear, the whole thing is already over. So everything is switched on, the script is probably run already. But so let's see if it can work. So we have this count now, repeat 20 times. Let's pray for being repeated 20 times. So let's run it. So what we will see here probably is that it start to increase. Yeah, it's 14 now, 15, 16. It actually started from 11, so I'm curious whether we can reach 31, because you see the count is actually 20 times, right? So maybe it won't work for 20 times because of the delays and whatever Zigbee issues with this, but so far so good. So it's increasing, it's keep increasing. So now it's 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Oh, 31. Okay, and now even it says action ran successfully. Wow, so it actually worked. That's pretty cool. So this is how you can do the automation without doing any hacky part. Of course, we have done a lot of hacky part, but at least for the actions, once you have the script YAML file completely correctly, then we can just easily add it to this thing, and then as you can see, it really works. So now what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to show you that for you guys, is just to also set the treble, the whatever extra features, the bass, blah blah blah, press, and then I will be very happy to finally have this automation, because then I can now finally make everything to be switched off when I'm not at home. But even though when I come back home, everything is powered on and in the same like state that I want my devices to be at when I sit in front of my TV. So that's all, guys, for now. I hope you'll enjoy the video, and I hope you can reproduce everything. I will provide some links below the description where I actually gathered all the information, where you can download the files, etc, etc, and just drop a comment if something doesn't work for you or you need some additional help. Cool. Alright, there is one more thing I just realized. So before having all the questions, let me show you what issue you might face when you try to add this automation part to Home Assistant. So that I realized that now if I wanted to add, let's say, the toggle button for my treble or my bass, or just want to add any other fake remote control, so then as I show you, before you go to action, you type script and then you select your fake remote. So we add it here, and as you can see, the action data is not shown here, just as above. So above, at least we saw the action data, so we could edit this, but now we don't see this at all, which is quite alarming, because now we cannot choose what is the comment that we want to send. So this is again a little bit hacky part here, but I can save this now. So it's saved. Let's see if I refresh, if anything happens. I highly doubt that anything would happen, but at least let's try. Okay, so sorry, it's a little bit slow now. So if I go down here, you see nothing is there. So what we need to do is that we need to manually edit the automation file, and then it will show up here. So if we go to our VS Code, then let me go back to that. So if you go to VS Code, now it's not about the scripts, it's about the automations. So we go to the automation, and yeah, I mean, we can look for the fake remote, right? Fake remote. Okay, for some reason I didn't find it, but it's gotta be somewhere here. Oh, sorry, is it wrong? So we can see the fake remote here. So here we see the M toggle here, then we see the 25 counts here, and then you can see that this is the one that I just added, but it doesn't have the data part. which we wanted to edit through the GUI in Home Assistant, but it didn't show us anything. But you can see from the template that it's very easy to edit. So for the data, you just remove this whole thing and just add the comment. So just add the comment with any random crap. You can even set random crap, doesn't matter. Then it says that eventually there is also this enabled true. So let's put enabled true here too. It's in this indentation, action, script fake remove. Okay, something is weird now because it's supposed to be this. For some reason, sorry, it is supposed to be here. Maybe I just press some button because it's an action, right? So it's an action just as here. So it's an action and then comes the metadata, which doesn't have this. It only has the data, and then the comment, then enable true. Then we got the repeat. Okay, so let's try to save this. Alright, it doesn't allow me to save this because it's I don't have the root access, but I know how to do that. So just let me become root, and then I just let this whole thing to be owned by my Pi user. Then I can save it. So now I save it. Now let's go back to Home Assistant. Maybe I need to reboot Home Assistant to make sure. So let me change back to my browser. So now if I go back, if I just, let's try a refresh first. Maybe it's enough to see the refresh first, but I don't think it's enough, but maybe it's enough. So let's see first. My PC is now super slow when this recording is on. Alright, so it slowly comes in. Oh no, I didn't do it. So you can see now that it's now visible. The comment is there, the random crap is there. So what I actually want to do is not the random crap, right? So what I want to do is basically I want to increase the bass and then the treble, so I can add that there. So I just press the toggle button, blah blah blah, so I can change this to the actual comment you want to do, and then you can save it, and then it's going to work. So this is something, guys, that you might face, so don't be scared. If you don't see this action comment there, you just edit the automation files on your own, and then you will see it. I know it's a hassle, that's why people say that use Zigbee to MQTT for this, but since everything for me is on ZHA, I didn't want it to have Zigbee to MQTT just for this. So I did all the heavy lifting for you guys. So now if you can take the trouble for this, you can set all the things up, and then once you set it up, it just works. You don't need to touch it anymore. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked it then. Alright, then bye bye.